Hello and welcome to Real Men Feel. I'm your host, author, coach, and healer, Andy Grant. Please visit theandygrant.com to learn more about me. Real Men Feel exists to have the conversations that most men aren't having, but that all men can benefit from. We remind men that you are a human being. You have the right to experience and express all of your emotions. I believe that everybody has a mission, a calling, a purpose to their life. And part of the great joy or frustration of life is discovering what that is. I don't recommend my path, which was multiple suicide attempts before I finally got that there must be a better way, and I began doing the inner work. Today, we're diving into purpose. My guest today is men's mentor, Cooper Heller. Cooper is a personal trainer, nutritionist, and life coach who helps men clarify their purpose, upgrade their physical health, and develop a winning mindset. Welcome to Real Men Feel, Cooper.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad to talk to you. We just connected recently, and I looked into a little bit of your story, and you almost seem like the all-American high school kid. You had everything going for you, and then you had an accident that kind of, upended what you thought your life was going to be. You want to share some of that?
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in Amarillo, Texas, a very small Texas town. I tell people more cows than people. Exactly what you think it would be. So I grew up playing sports all throughout middle school and high school. I played football, basketball, ran track. And basically, like you said, I had everything in my life perfect. Of course, everyone has ups and downs, but my life was generally what most people would love to have. And so everything was great. Like I said, sports was my thing. In junior year of high school, I had a big incident. During an off season, I was deadlifting and I ended up rupturing 3 discs in my lower back. So once that happened, it pinched my nerve, my sciatic nerve going down my leg. And so to walk, stand up, put any pressure at all, even just holding a book, was excruciating pain. So I couldn't walk for about 6 months. And I got addicted to opioids. I gained about 50 pounds of fat. And during that time, I was severely depressed. Going back to what you said, I did struggle with suicidal thoughts during that time as well. And man, it was a terrible time. But during that time, my mindset was very negative initially, but I realized how important, proper nutrition and training was, along with a positive mindset during that time. So I would not be where I'm at today if that not had happened. Right. So, I broke my back, couldn't walk for about 6 months during that period, had some minor surgeries, lots of doctor's office, PT visits. And I ended up doing a ton of research on nutrition, training, and even mindset. I started implementing those things in my life. And I immediately saw a difference in my mood, my day-to-day life, just my lifestyle completely. So pretty soon, I started to have a more positive outlook on the doctor's appointments, the PT, the therapy, all of those things. And, basically I realized that I can live this way, just more positive and not so down, even though I was in a down situation.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You're not your circumstances.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I started dialing on my nutrition and eventually, I could walk again. So I started going on walks around the block, doing what I could. And I lost that 50 pounds. Pretty soon, my friends and family were coming to me and saying, Cooper, write me a free plan, help me out here. What's the magic trick? And I'd barter with them a little bit and say, buy me a Chipotle burrito and I'll write you a free plan. so that's what started my love for fitness, nutrition, and mindset. And I started my first company online with fitness, nutrition, and mindset in college. I grew that up. I actually dropped out of college, moved it to my dream city of San Diego. And then about 8 months ago, that's when I realized my full purpose was not being fulfilled. Number one, I realized that men generally don't have a community, which I know that you're very big on as well, and being able to be vulnerable with other men, but other men that genuinely want to see them succeed. So that is the first gap that I wanted to fill. And the second gap was men do not have a mentor, right? A mentor to show them how to upgrade their mindset, their lifestyle, their health, their physique, but also help them clarify their purpose, because men nowadays are just so lost. So that is where we are today.
Prior to your accident, were you doing any sort of mindset work? Was the accident your first experience with depression? Like, how had you been before that?
Honestly, I do believe that it was my first experience with severe depression. Um, I mean, yeah, I feel like it really stemmed from the pain, just being in pain 24/7, just wanting to get out of that state of mind.
While you were growing up, but again, prior to the accident, was purpose, was life goals, was that something that you were consciously thinking of? Or it almost sounds like you were kind of unconsciously competent of having a great life.
Yeah, most definitely. Man, it wasn't even something that crossed my mind. You know, the whole back incident really what sparked my personal development journey. And so prior to that, I really didn't think about, life coaching, mindset coaching, any of those things of the sort.
So how important is mindset to having a purpose-driven, fulfilling life?
Oh man, it's crucial. Absolutely crucial. Every entrepreneur that is top dog, the highest athletes, whoever, everyone does mindset work. And I didn't realize that until I started doing it. So
yeah, it kind of, until you have the awareness that my mind is full of shit thoughts. At least I didn't give much credit to. I thought, well, this is what everyone thinks about.
yes.
Because when I was high school and college, like my worldview was that life sucks, then you die. But I would never think, oh, that's negative mindset. I thought that was just a fact.
Mm.
Besides the physical pain of the accident, what was telling you that there must be something more?
That is a great question. Honestly, I've always believed in a higher power, but I never truly understood what my purpose was. Right. And so I do believe that that was a little bit of um, an external event happening for my benefit to align me properly with my purpose, if that makes sense. Like I believe that that was divinely orchestrated to help me define and grow myself, my inner work.
Yeah, well. I totally agree. And I think you mentioned having at least the suicidal thoughts during this dark time. And, I'm amazed how often I talk to people and they kind of admit that to me because I'm open about mine. And I think that's one of the, the greatest stigmas we still have in society is, I find that the best way to prevent suicide is by talking about suicide. But when it comes to purpose, do you see purpose as this static thing, or does your purpose change over the course of your life?
I believe that it can change. I do believe that it can evolve in a sense. But we define purpose as, fulfillment, as well as, see the goal is to turn your purpose into profit. That is the goal, right? And nowadays it's very doable with online business.
When we first talked, you said something that I love. I wrote it down. It is completely possible to live an amazing, fulfilling life and do what you love to do. And when I was miserable, if I heard someone say that, I'd say, you're full of fucking shit, man.
Yeah.
So, and I bet you agree by that too. So what do you say to those people that are so pessimistic and down, they just don't, what you're saying isn't even possible in their mind?
Oh man. I would just say you don't know what you don't know. Right. And growing up in my town, no one owned an online business. No one even knew what that was. Now being here in San Diego is very, very tech savvy. All my friends are entrepreneurs. It's like that's a common thing. And so if that's not in your environment, that's okay. But just, at least try to open your mind to other possibilities that life can be amazing. And you can literally do what you want. Like, man, I was talking with one of my entrepreneur friends, and he was telling me how one of his friends her passion was to braid hair. And she literally started an online business teaching women how to braid hair, making 10 to 20K per month online, teaching women how to braid hair.
Wow. Yeah, I would think
Like,
that's something that you must be in person with to really get it down, but obviously not.
so it's literally, you can do anything nowadays, whatever your passion is, whatever your purpose is, aligning that with a business model, a service base primarily, that is the goal. So totally possible.
So are there any kind of I want to say, well, I'll say simple or common suggestions that to help someone discover or clarify their purpose?
Absolutely. So that is part, of our personal development program. A lot of it is like the life coaching sessions. But what I would say it comes down to is honestly a lot of self-discovery, right? Because honestly, man, like our purpose, it's shown to us in little hints that sometimes we don't see. Like, well, sometimes like coincidences, maybe like divinely orchestrated events that we just don't put a thumb on it until we're like, wow, like that was actually there for a reason. So, coincidences, divinely orchestrated events, maybe like childhood, um, events or passions, like what men love to do as children. Sometimes we can see that turn into their purpose, which is really cool. Talents, natural abilities and talents. Everyone has talents and natural abilities, right?
Yeah, but one thing that worked for me, coaches recommended this to me when I was like in my 20s and wondering what the hell I was doing with my life. And I recommend it to clients all the time too. Is people that think I have no talents, there's nothing I like, I'm just miserable. But yeah, go back to childhood. Like, what did you used to love doing? Like
Mm-hmm.
drawing, singing, playing with Legos. Are you a frustrated architect or construction worker, or like whatever it might be? But somewhere along the life, everybody has experienced joy, right? No
Mm-hmm.
matter how much trauma is in your life, there was at least one time that you felt good to be alive.
Right.
And, I think that's our natural state. But mindset, teaching, society, media, we can turn this into just these self-judging machines of negativity and repetition and misery. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
and ideally, again, well, maybe it takes this dark night of the soul for everybody, but ideally, like what? Yeah, maybe that's it. Like people can't just I'm doing great, but I know I can do better, so I'm going to look for that. Like they have to bang something. We have to get that like kick in the nuts to like wake us up somehow.
Absolutely, man. And this is the way that I think about it. I like to think about it as, and this is a little out there. I like to think about it as we're souls, and we have this opportunity to come down to earth and take on, a human form where we can experience joy, love, abandonment, depression, positive and negative emotions. I would choose to do it every single time. And so knowing that and kind of zooming out with the big picture, our lives are so small compared to the infinite timeline, right? And so when you get that big picture, it really helps to see, and like our problems, as big as they are to us, they're really not that big. And if we can look at them from a point of view of how can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? That is the whole point.
Yeah, cool. It reminds me, just the prior episode was, what would you tell your younger self? And one of the things that I would have told myself at 16 or 22 or anything was, all the things you're worried about, they don't matter. Like none of it. Like even now, like if you look back on the things that you were most concerned about in high school, do any of them really matter today?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. But that's the frustration and joy of our human mind. That like, yeah, whatever the moment is, it's life and death, and it's horrible. And at least for me, and I think this is true for most people that have ever felt suicidal, we can get trapped in this really black or white thinking, and everything's great or it sucks. And if you felt that it sucks so long, even when it's great, I used to believe that the great times, that was the lie. And pretty soon it's going to feel like shit all over again. And I'm not going to fall for that lie of life is good again. But it is. So I love discovering that I've been wrong about a lot of the beliefs I used to have. I think you mentioned that too, like awareness and be willing to grow, and you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
I happened to watch an old interview with Bob Proctor today. Do you know him?
I don't.
Okay, because he used to live in San Diego, I think, but he died earlier this year. But he's 87 years old. He was one of the stars of The Secret. He's been in like personal growth and mindset coaching since the early 70s, I believe. But I came across this interview, and it pulled me in. And I thought I jotted a couple notes because I thought it might pertain to today, and it does. But he said, if you don't have adversity, you aren't living much of a life. You're just flatlining. And I think that's what both of our stories and what we're talking about verifies that challenges and adversity make you have to learn things, lean into your dreams, and have an exciting life. We aren't just here to bide our time.
Yeah.
So is one of the biggest hurdles to purpose, believing that you have one? And like, does it come back down to awareness?
I believe, first off, everyone has a purpose. But I do believe that when you're in the constant state of just day-to-day life, I go to work, this is what I eat, I go to sleep, do that over and over. Most people don't think that deeply about life, right? And so sometimes when you say purpose, it's really got to be like clarified. And so a good way to ask that question would be like, if I was talking to a client, instead of saying, have you found your purpose? I would say, do you wake up in the morning excited, fulfilled, ready to take on the day? If they say no, nine times out of 10, I'll know exactly what we need to do.
And another thing Bob Proctor said that I'm glad to hear it coming from you too, because he said, any program without a spiritual foundation is not complete. It can be good, but it's not complete. And so you're mentioning spirituality a lot. Spirituality is a big deal for me. That's like, again, after multiple suicide attempts, I finally accepted and started to realize that, all right, I'm not just this meat suit. I'm not just random chemicals. I'm not just chemical reactions. There is more to me. And that more to me is somehow keeping me alive for some freaking reason. And
absolutely,
but I was not raised with any religion. I was not raised with any. And I thought not being raised with religion made me an atheist. I remember being like a Cub Scout, and there was a merit badge for reading the Bible. And I like protested that. You can't make me do this. I'm an atheist. And I didn't even know what any of those words actually meant at the time. But anyway, is there something else besides awareness and knowing that they have it? Is there anything else that you wish more men knew when it came to purpose?
I would honestly say that it doesn't matter how big or small you believe your purpose is, but the only true failure in life is not striving for why you're here. Right? That is truly the only failure, because you can fail at things, but as long as you're trying, it's not a failure.
Yeah, and there's a Yoda, there is no try, there's only do. And whenever I hear people say they're trying, because I see, like, if we keep saying I'm trying, we're lying to ourselves, because we're actually doing it, but we're saying we're only trying, or we're not, we're only talking, we're only thinking about it, we aren't doing it, and we say, but I'm trying. So I find that usually trying is, where it's just it's a form of self-deception. You're not giving yourself credit for what you're doing, or you're bluffing to yourself that you're doing something when all you're doing is kind of mental masturbation over it all.
I love that. I love that.
Is there one particular program or book or practice that kind of really helped you the most, or was a great starting step for you?
I would say CBT therapy. I'm a big advocate for therapy. A lot of guys, we have this ego where, we don't want everyone to know our secrets. We don't want to be vulnerable, but therapy is seriously life-changing.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I think that, and I can comfortably say this for you now. Like, I always tell you, like, I don't recommend don't get a coach who isn't getting coached. Don't get a mentor that hasn't been through therapy. Like, don't get someone who just wakes up one day like, I'm good with people, I'm going to start doing this. But like, you've done that inner work already.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I have a mentor at all times in my life. Right now I have 3.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have any insights into how to choose a good mentor? How did you know the guys that or the women that you're dealing with now were a good fit for you?
Yeah, man. Honestly, I feel like goal alignment is crucial. So making sure that mentor is in the place that you want to be at, right? Whether that be business, if you're looking for a business mentor, obviously you want them to know what they're doing, right? If they don't, it's kind of like looking for a fat personal trainer. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
So I feel like goal alignment, making sure that they're in the place that you want to be at. Also, I feel like just compatibility in general. A lot of guys, everyone's different, man. A lot of guys are very like direct in mentorship, very kind of like the masculine energy, whereas the feminine energy is more like nurturing. And so, depending on your compatibility, your personality type, you may learn better from a more nurturing type versus a more kind of driven, strict masculine type.
Cool. And I find it's often good to mix that up. Like I've intentionally hired coaches that I didn't like. I'm like, oh, there's something triggering. They have something that I wish I had more, but there's something. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to lean into this, and I always got like it was like harder lessons, but valuable stuff when you do that. But
Wow.
and also
Awesome.
when I'm talking about men's groups, I've facilitated in person and online men's groups over the years, and I always tell guys like, don't just find a group where everybody thinks just like you, and it just seems it's a good fit, because you can learn so much about yourself by the people that upset you. No,
Absolutely.
I wouldn't surround myself with a dozen guys I can't stand, but having one or two that like trigger you or get under your skin, that can be a really powerful thing.
100%.
Cool.
Love that.
No, you said part of your goal of work with guys is to turn purpose into profit. Do you see purpose is only aligned with vocation or career?
I do not. I do believe that purpose can be something that you can fulfill in the day-to-day life. It could even turn into a hobby. But as long as you are living in alignment with your purpose, that is what brings true fulfillment.
What are some of the signs that would tell me that I'm in alignment with my purpose?
I would say, waking up excited. Granted, everyone has those days. We're dragging. I get it. But to have an actual mission, a purpose to fulfill, like that gets me going in the morning. And I know that you yourself know, but um, every single entrepreneur that I know personally, like they wake up and they get with it. They have a fire under their ass. They're going.
Yeah.
And it's like that is their purpose, and I feel like that is a true sign of living in alignment with yourself, your authentic self.
Cool. Yeah, this is something that I never thought I'd be this person, but I woke up at 5:30 this morning on my own, just like, all right, that's enough sleep. Let's get going. And I was like, oh crap, and like trying to I didn't try to force sleep, which is something I did for decades. But I'm like, all right, that's enough. Let's go. Let's take the day on. And again, I just thought like that's not a possibility for me. I thought I was never be a morning person. I was always a night owl. But yeah, when you want to start your day will start earlier, very naturally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, man, I find that a lot of people tell themselves stories, right? And then we end up believing those stories.
Yeah.
So if you say you're not a morning person over and over and over, you're not going to be a morning person.
Right. Yeah. That self-talk, and that's, part of mindset and awareness, but the things we tell ourselves, that's creating our life. So once you're aware that, oh, I keep saying I'm this type of person and it's not what I want to be, well, then stop saying that. like flip that around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. I wonder what man had the biggest impact on your life?
Oh, that is a great question. I would say two. I would say first off, my father. I believe that we actually have a much better relationship now than we did growing up. But he is an entrepreneur. He's extremely hardworking, provides for his family. I believe he really just showed me a good sense of what it means to be a man and have the structure and discipline to, push yourself and provide for your family, and really just that masculine frame. So I feel like he was the first one for me, just growing up and seeing that. But I'd say my second is my first mentor named Zach Colburn. So I found Zach when I was actually in college, and he is what led me to creating my first company, Mind Body Health. So he got me started on the whole online entrepreneurship side of things, and that really got me going down this journey. So
Cool. And I wonder, what are you most proud of, Cooper?
What am I most proud of? Honestly, man, I would say my deep relationships.
Expand on that.
I I feel like immediately my mind went to like accomplishments. Here I am as a young guy, created two six-figure companies. I'm living the dream life, whatever. But it's like that's not deep. Deep soul Cooper, he says the deep relationships, right? Like my relationship with my little brother. He's my best buddy. He's awesome. So just watching him growing up, maintaining contact with him, keeping relationship, my relationship with my partner. She's absolutely amazing. My supportive friends, my supportive family. So I feel like if everything was taken away from me, that's the only thing that would truly matter was my deep relationships. So that's what I'm proud of.
Does Deep Soul Cooper still have a connection with high school buddies that you knew prior to the accident?
Yeah, man. So that is a tough question. Honestly, no. Um, I mean, I do still keep in contact every once in a while with a few guys, but I feel like as you progress in your personal development journey, you really branch off from some people. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, you go your different ways, right? If you are constantly putting in the work with your mindset, your personal development, the same people you used to hang around that would gossip and things like that, you just don't want any part of anymore. You just don't want to put up with it. So I feel like some people I might come back into town and reconnect with them, go get a bite to eat, but as the most part, I wouldn't say so.
Cool. And is there anything that you are especially looking forward to?
Oh man, so much, so much. It's almost overwhelming, but I love it. Christmas is coming up next. I'm very excited for Christmas. The New Year's, what's going to come on for the Trilogy Method 2023. Very excited for that. And long term, seeing where my company goes, I'm extremely excited for. We do want to add on quite a bit, which is a little bit of secret. I can tell you. So I wasn't going to say this, but going back to the turning the purpose into profit, that is actually a coaching program that we want to add into the company. So once we help men define what their purpose is, help them level up their mindset, help them develop their physique in 3 months, we want to turn that purpose into profit through an online service-based business so that men can get out of the rat race, out of this matrix, and live the life that they deserve.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So what's the best way for people to get in touch with you to find out all the things that you're up to?
Absolutely. So Instagram, I am most active at Cooper B. Heller. Again, that's Cooper B. Heller. And then the company, the community page is called the Trilogy Method.
You mentioned when we chatted before the show, you talked about this working with you can be an ego trip for a lot of older guys. And you said that I want to get this right. I think you said that wisdom was irrespective of age.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So what is the experience like? How does someone in their 40s or 50s react to such a successful young guy that has all these, I want to say, like almost like, yeah, hard earned life lessons figured out at a really young age?
I would say it is a little bit of an ego trip sometimes. I would say, maintaining an open mind is crucial, right? Because you can learn something from anyone. But at the end of the day, it is a very immersive process with mindset coaching, life coaching, but also customized personal training and then nutrition coaching as well. So it's a 3-month process to help these men become warriors, right? Help these guys live in alignment with their authentic self and become the guy that they know that they can become.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm really excited that we connected, and I'm freaking thrilled that there are guys like you out there. Like people figuring this shit out faster and easier, and not my way of trying to end my life so many times before I realized like life's worth living. Like you got it fast. You seem like a fast learner, a go-getter, and I tell you, man, you give me hope that like human beings will fucking like figure this shit out, and we'll all be a more joyous, happy world. So I really, from the bottom of my heart, man, I really am impressed with you and wish you all the success, and really encourage people to check out your programs, nail you down, and make 2023 the best year of your life.
Absolutely, man. I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool. So thanks, Cooper, for joining us, and thanks everyone for listening. Wherever you are discovering Real Men Feel, please subscribe, follow, like, share this with somebody, post a review or a comment. You can always reach out to me at realmenfeel@gmail.com. Always glad to hear from you. And until next time, perhaps until next year, be good to yourself.